What is going on? What is going on? It's your boy, Welcome to the Stoutt side, where we use mindset, encouragement, accountability, and nutrition to help you be the best you. Guys, I am not going to be on very long. This is actually going to be very, very short. So, here's the deal. I came across this very recently. And what's really unnerving is that we are now in the realm of foolishness. As somebody who is a personal trainer, who has very in-depth knowledge about vitamins, minerals, water, protein, carbs, things of that nature. This is why education is important. This is why we have to stop just listening to nonsense. Now, recently in the news, it has become abundantly apparent that y'all will do anything possible to avoid common sense. Common sense is chasing y'all, and some of you are running faster because you're not willing to do something that has been done for 80 plus years now. Well, almost 80 years. Vaccinations is not new. If vaccinations was as abhorrent and as volatile and as dangerous as some of y'all think it is, why are your great-grandparents still alive? Why are your grandparents still alive? Why are you still alive? The reason why I'm asking that is because all of a sudden we have lost all forms of common sense now. You were vaccinated. Your mom and your dad was vaccinated. Unless you are some sort of Christian fundamentalist, you have been vaccinated. Your grandparents were vaccinated. But instead, y'all want to think you are overcoming science. We already know how the immune system works. We've been through it inside and out. HIV and AIDS would not be a thing if we did not know how the immune system works. The immune system works by attacking proteins that you don't recognize, that your body does not recognize. This is why you have peanut allergies, genius. This is exactly why we have allergies in the first place, because the body either no longer recognizes the protein or your body never recognized that protein. And when it sees that a foreign protein body is in your system, it will viciously attack it. However, in some cases, some proteins, i.e. viruses, i.e. bacteria, protein-based life forms, right? Carbon-based life forms particularly, but they invade the body and begin to replicate far faster than your body can fight it. And one of two things then begins to happen. Your body then shows symptoms of being infiltrated and you succumb to the disease, or you show signs of exposure, your body then overwhelms the system with nothing but white blood cells. You fight it, you go through some things for a little while, and then you recover. And then you have quote unquote natural immunity. But unfortunately, for some of us will not be able to fight it off because our immune systems aren't strong enough either yet or not strong enough, period, to overcome such overwhelming foreign bodies. Now, the individual that is in charge of Health and Human Services is made the suggestion that if you take cod liver oil, you can beat the measles. And some of you, in your infinite wisdom, thinks it's a good idea. Thinks it's a good idea to then overload your children with cod liver oil. Causing liver damage. So, you guys will be more willing to cause your children liver damage, all to avoid a vaccination that you perceive might harm your child. Might not even harm your child. But because you perceive it to be so, you would rather poison your child, because that's what toxicity is. You are toxic. You have become poison. Poison your child to the point where the liver is not functioning properly. Don't believe me? Here we go. Let me share my screen with you. Measles outbreak leads to dangerous vitamin A toxicity. So before I even get into this article, I'm going to explain to you what I actually know. You have four fat-soluble vitamins. We call it ADEC, just so you can remember it. ADEC stands for vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin K. You don't need that much of any of those four vitamins in your system at any given point in time. Why? Because it's fat soluble. It is in your body fat. It will absorb into your body fat, and as your body releases energy from your body fat, those vitamins will then begin to support your system as it should. This is part of the reason why anorexia is so dangerous. Because the less body fat you have, the less of those four key nutrients is in your system, causing your body an abundance of health issues. The others are water soluble. B, C, primarily B and C. You pee them out. They're water soluble. They are in the water. They are absorbed into the water that is absorbed into your bloodstream, that is absorbed into your muscles. However, the ADEX are absorbed into your body fat. Excuse me. So let's get to it. As measles outbreak spread across the United States, doctors are now seeing a new and unexpected danger. Children getting sick from taking too much vitamin A. At Covenant Children's Hospital in Lubbock, Texas, several unvaccinated children show signs of liver problems after taking large amounts of vitamin A, according to Dr. Laura Johnson, the hospital's chief medical officer. U.S. Health Department's Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has promoted vitamin A during the outbreak, even suggested it might help prevent measles. But doctors say this isn't true, because it's not. A vitamin cannot prevent you from contracting a bacterial or a viral infection. If that were the case, gonorrhea, syphilis, herpes, HIV, none of these things would work. If you're well nourished, if you're even just taking a multivitamin, it wouldn't work. They would be basically all diseases would literally go away. What y'all are doing is mistaking the symptoms of vitamin deficiency as a cure to things. When you have a vitamin deficiency, your body will then start to show signs of a lack of that particular vitamin. Scurvy, vitamin C. A lack of vitamin C produces symptoms of scurvy, which is a disease, but it is not viral or bacterial. You cannot cure or prevent viral or bacterial infections merely with vitamins and or minerals. They can assist, but they cannot prevent. Your immune system, along with your nutritional balance, will maintain you or sustain you or not prevent you, but will more likely lessen the load of infection if you are healthy, but it will not prevent. And you now have a politician who is not medically trained, who has no medical knowledge whatsoever, coming to people who are desperate and in fear, telling them that taking cod liver oil or vitamin A supplements is going to prevent the measles, rather than telling them go get the damn vaccination, rather than telling them to put into play that they need to be healthy and get a vaccination. You tell them overdose on vitamin A. When anybody worth their salt in nutrition knows that overdosing on the A-Dex is a ticket to disaster. Let's go. If people have the mistaken impression that you have an either or choice of MMR vaccine or vitamin A, you're going to get a lot of kids unnecessarily infected with the measles. That's a problem, especially during an epidemic. I'm going to skip names here. And second, you have this unregulated medicine in terms of doses being given and potential toxicities. The measles, mumps, rubella vaccine is the only proven way to prevent measles. It is 97% effective after 2 doses. Kennedy has said he encourages vaccines but considers vaccination a personal choice. That is true. A personal choice. However, common sense. Common sense. Something is 97% certain to work. Why aren't you using it? Not, 50-50, 10-90, 5-95. You have a 97.3% chance of it not working. But again, this is where the terminology of herd immunity kicks in. If everybody took the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine, the people that are susceptible to getting measles, mumps, and rubella will not get it because the people that can transmit it to you don't have it either. That's how herd immunity works. That's how true herd immunity works. They all but declared measles eradicated in 2000. And now we have an outbreak in Texas. And still, y'all refuse common damn sense. But I digress. Let's go. Vitamin A can be helpful for people with measles when given the right dose by a doctor. The right dose, meaning vitamin A helps with dealing with the symptoms, but it's a right dosage. It doesn't mean it prevents it. I'm going to read that again. Vitamin A can be helpful for people with measles when given in the right dose by a doctor. Which means, moron, you already have damn measles. You already have it. Which already suggests to you that you can't prevent measles with vitamin A. Because guess what? I don't even think it's 10%, maybe 10% of the United States of America is vitamin A deficient. 10%, if that. I'll Google it in a minute. If that is vitamin A deficient. You know how hard it is to be vitamin deficient in America? Do you know how hard it is to be vitamin deficient in America? 2 bowls of cereal. Just 2 bowls of cereal. I don't care what cereal you choose. 2 bowls of cereal will provide you with enough vitamins and minerals to sustain the body well enough to function. Is it the best choice? Absolutely not. I wouldn't suggest people just go eating cereal. But guess what? Because we supplement our foods with vitamins and minerals, it is very hard to get a vitamin deficiency in the United States of America. You would literally have to be eating absolute craptacular food every single day in order to become vitamin deficient. But I digress. Let's keep going. But taking too much, especially without medical supervision, can be dangerous. Vitamin A is a fat-soluble and can build up in the body. Sounds like something I said before reading this. Amazing. This can lead to dry skin, blurry vision, bone problems, and liver damage. Liver damage comes first. In pregnant women, it can even cause birth defects. The right amount, healthy baby. Wrong amount, bad baby. Dr. Leslie Mothral, a pediatrician in Lubbock, says kids in Texas are generally well nourished and don't need extra vitamin A. Again, I haven't read this yet. This is me reading it for the first time. Recovery for patients with acute toxicity can be rapid when the vitamin is discontinued, Mothral said. Sadly, some of the more serious problems with vitamin A toxicity are not always reversible. The Council for Responsible Nutrition, a group representing supplement makers, also warned parents not to give their children high doses of vitamin A. While vitamin A plays an important role in supporting overall immune function, research hasn't established its effectiveness in preventing measles infection. CRN is concerned about the reports of high-dose vitamin A being used inappropriately, especially in children, it said in a statement. Johnson said some parents may be following questionable advice from social media or health influencers. First things first. If you are a health influencer and you're promoting this crap, you are, If you're doing this, you're an a-hole. Because you know better. And if you don't know better, then you should stop being a health influencer. because that is not where the health is. Am I suggesting everything that we consume in this country is great? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But damn it, have some common sense. There are times where you have to be able to discern craptacular information from good ones. And right now, y'all are failing. Right now, y'all are failing. How hard is it to remember 4 vitamins? 4. A, D, E, K. Do not play with them. They are not for play. They will poison you and do serious harm to you if you overuse and abuse them. This is the reason why certain vitamins are in micrograms. The only reason why you're allowed to overdose on B and C vitamins is because the body will only readily absorb but so much of it because it's water soluble. You will pee the rest of it out. Have you ever noticed that when you take vitamins, any kind of vitamins, whether it's a multivitamin or a B vitamin or a zinc or whatever, have you ever noticed that your pee is almost fluorescent yellow? Why do you think that is? Because the vitamin that you are trying to absorb is only going into your body but so much, and the rest of it gets out of your system through the renal system, which is your kidneys and your bladder. You will pee it out. It's that simple. A, D, E, and K doesn't work that way. And any responsible trainer, responsible healthcare professional, responsible nutritionist, responsible health influencer would tell you this. But y'all don't listen. Some of you ain't listening, but some of you are listening to people you think are there for you, when if you really sat down and vetted the people that are telling you stuff, you would begin to soon realize they don't know shit. The fox is in the henhouse, telling the hens to hand over their eggs, or even better yet, give me 1 chicken a day and everybody else will be safe. If you're on the YouTube airways right now listening to this message, do me a favor and give me a like, because this needs to get out. This absolutely needs to get out. Without a shadow of a doubt, it needs to get out. It's coming out of the health and wellness influencer industry that downplays the importance of vaccines and tries to promote various spectacular cures like ivermectin or hydrochloroquine or vitamin A, Otis says. In a recent interview with Fox News, pun intended, Kennedy promoted a treatment plan that includes vitamin A, a steroid, an antibiotic, and cod liver oil, but doctors say there's little to no proof this works for measles. The measles outbreak has now affected at least 378 people in 17 states, from Texas and New Mexico to Vermont, New York, and Washington. Yeah, and you know the worst part about it is? The worst part about it is that it's only going to affect your children. It's only going to affect your children. Because you got vaccinated. Whether you wanted to or not, you got vaccinated because your parents vaccinated you. As a health policy, there's very few that are allowed to enter a school unvaccinated. You must be vaccinated, or you should be vaccinated before you enter a school. Why do you think, when's the last time you had a chickenpox outbreak? I haven't heard a kid, you know, back in the day, it used to be a rite of passage to get the chicken pox. Just 40 years ago, rite of passage. I got the chicken pox when I was far too young to even remember I got it. How did I get it? My aunt gave it to me. How did my aunt get it? Don't remember. Don't remember the story. But my aunt gave me the chicken pox. I've seen other kids get the chicken pox while I was in first, second, third grade, kindergarten. All got the, yo, you got the chicken pox. Ooh. My stupid behind used to think the chicken pox was something that, you know, used to get bumps and you could pluck them and it tastes like chicken. You know, chalk it up to being 5 and 6. But it used to be a rite of passage to get the chicken pox. When's the last time you heard a kid get chicken pox? Wonder why? You want to know why? Because your kid got vaccinated from the chicken pox. When the chicken pox vaccine became a thing. So now you don't see people getting chicken pox. Y'all made my head hurt. Common sense ain't common anymore. But now I'm going to share my screen with you. Here we go. Don't believe me. Listen to the doctor.
Hey, you may not be surprised when I tell you this, but there are children in Texas currently who have experienced liver damage because they were given inappropriately high doses of vitamin A to either prevent or treat measles infection. Since the recent interview on Fox News with the Department of Health and Human Services Secretary, who was talking about vitamin A as a possible treatment for measles, the amount of vitamin A through cod liver oil and other supplements was flying off the shelves in Lubbock, Texas, according to the director of public health there, Catherine Wells. And now we are getting reports that children were getting high doses of vitamin A, which can cause all sorts of issues. It can cause peeling skin. It can cause liver damage, which may present as jaundice, which is yellowing of the skin because of a condition called hyperbilirubinemia. You could also get seizures and potentially coma from inappropriately high doses of vitamin A. While vitamin A may be used in some situations in the hospitalized setting for vitamin A deficient patients, it is inappropriate to be taking vitamin A without the direct supervision of a physician. It is not a therapy that can prevent measles infection. Only the MMR vaccine can do that. Hey, you may not be surprised.
So, here it is. You heard it yourself. He's a doctor. You gonna argue with a doctor? Never mind, because sometimes you can. Sometimes you can. Especially when doctors don't know what they're talking about. But doctors all over the world all agree that measles, mumps, and rubella vaccination is the only way to prevent measles, mumps, and rubella. When's the last time you heard somebody got the mumps? The mumps sounds like a group of Muppets. Some of y'all don't even know what it is. I know what it is. It is literally your salivary glands overswelling to the point where it looks like somebody socked you in your jaw and broke it. Mouth bump. That's what mumps basically means. Mouth bump. It's just a big, huge, like somebody stuck an orange in your mouth. So, I am reading from the Merck Manual Vitamin A Toxicity. Okay? Just so you know, I'm reading from that. Vitamin A toxicity can be acute due to accidental ingestion by children or chronic. Both types can usually cause headache and increase intracranial pressure, similar to the measles. Acute toxicity causes nausea and vomiting. Chronic toxicity causes changes in skin, hair, nails, abnormal liver test results, and in a fetus birth defects. Diagnosis is usually clinical. Unless birth defects are present, adjusting the dose almost always leads to complete recovery. Dietary sources of preformed vitamin A include fish liver oils, liver, egg yolks, butter, and vitamin A fortified dairy products. Which means, if you eat eggs, you don't need vitamin A. If you eat butter, you don't need vitamin A. If you eat fish in general, you don't need vitamin A. Normally, the liver stores 80 to 90% of the body's vitamin A. The liver holds it. To use vitamin A, the body releases it into circulation bound to prealbumin, and retinol binding protein. Beta-carotene and other provitamin carotenoids contained in green, leafy, and yellow vegetables, carrots, and deep or bright colored fruits are converted to vitamin A. Carotenoids are absorbed better from vegetables when they are cooked or homogenized and served with some fat. Example, oils. So meaning, some carrots, drizzled in some olive oil, heated up a little bit. You got yourself a well absorbed vitamin A quality source. Retinol activities equivalents were developed because provitamin A carotenoids have less vitamin A activity than preformed vitamin A. Synthetic vitamin analogs, are being used increasingly in dermatology. The possible protective role of beta-carotene and retinoids against some epithelial cancers is under study. Epithelial cancers, meaning skin in the mouth, the outer layer of, basically the layer of film that is inside of your mouth that covers your throat, your internal organs and stuff like that. But beta-carotene and retinoids are not recommended for prevention of cancer or cardiovascular disease. When taken as a supplement, beta-carotene has been associated with increased cancer and cardiovascular risk. Risk does not seem to increase when carotenoids are consumed in fruits and vegetables. Which means, if you supplement it, you might be subjecting yourself to cancerous possibilities. If you eat it through natural means, you don't. Okay. Acute vitamin A toxicity in children may result from taking large doses, which is 300,000 IUs or greater than 100,000 micrograms, usually accidentally, meaning kids got a hold of the cod liver oil pills, started downing them. First of all, I don't know how you could do it because that's gross. I couldn't even do it as an adult. Or they overdosed on some vitamins. They start eating those Flintstone vitamins because they think it's candy. Some variation of that story, right? In adults, acute toxicity has occurred when Arctic explorers ingested polar bear or seal livers, which contain several million IUs of vitamin A. Meaning you ate You didn't eat a sliver. You ate some animal livers, Arctic animal livers. You want to know why it is highly toxic to eat their livers? Is because all they do is eat fish. So they themselves are holding on storing a ton of vitamin A. However, they've evolved to store that much. They're much bigger than you and I. Average person, the average heavy person weighs 300 pounds. A seal by itself weighs at least 400, 500 pounds. Let's not get into polar bears, right? Chronic vitamin A toxicity in older children and adults usually develops after doses of 100,000 IUs or 30,000 micrograms a day and has been taken for months. Meaning, you don't even have to overdose in one shot. You become chronically toxic because you keep ingesting high amounts daily for over a long period of time. Megavitamin therapy is a possible cause, which is why you don't do it. As are massive daily doses of vitamin A or its metabolites, which are sometimes given for nodular acne or other skin disorders. Adults who consume 4,500 IUs or 1,500 or greater than 1,500 micrograms a day of vitamin A may develop osteoporosis. Infants who are given excessive doses, 18,000 to 60,000 IUs or 6,000 to 20,000 micrograms a day of water-miscible vitamin A may develop toxicity within a few weeks. Birth defects occur in children of women receiving isotretinoin, which is related to vitamin A for acne treatment, or who have taken megadoses of vitamin A during pregnancy. Megadoses of vitamin A can cause liver toxicity. Although carotene is converted to vitamin A in the body, excessive ingestion of carotene causes carcinemia, not vitamin A toxicity. Carcinemia is usually asymptomatic but leads to carcinosis, which the skin becomes yellow. Although symptoms of vitamin A toxicity may vary, headache and rash usually develop during acute or chronic toxicity. Acute toxicity causes increased intracranial pressure, drowsiness, irritability, abdominal pain, nausea, and vomiting are common. Sometimes the skin subsequently peels. Early symptoms of chronic toxicity are sparsely distributed: coarse hair, alopecia of the eyebrows, dry, rough skin, dry eyes, and cracked lips. Later, severe headache, idiopathic intracranial hypertension, and generalized weakness develop. Cortical hyperosteosis of bone and arthralgia may occur, especially in children. Fractures may occur easily. This is because the vitamin A and calcium are not intertwining well. There has to be a balance. Especially in older adults. In children, toxicity can cause pruritus, anorexia, failure to thrive. Hepatology and splenomegaly may occur, meaning hepto meaning your liver, spleno meaning spleen. Megaly. an enlarged liver, or an enlarged spleen. God forbid it's both, because now you got a distended system there. In carcinosis, the skin, but not the sclera, becomes deep yellow, especially on the palms and soles. Diagnosis of vitamin A toxicity is clinical. Blood vitamin levels correlate poorly with toxicity. However, if clinical diagnosis is equivocal, laboratory testing may help. In vitamin A toxicity, fasting serum retinol levels may increase from normal 28 to 86 micrograms per deciliter, 1 to 3 micromilliliters, or to greater than 100 micrograms per deciliter, sometimes to 2,000 micrograms per deciliter. Hyperkalemia, well, hypercalcemia is common. Hyperkalemia is high potassium levels. Excuse me. Differentiating vitamin A toxicity from other disorders may be difficult. Carcinosis also occur in severely hypothyroidism and anorexia nervosa, possibly because keratin is converted to vitamin A more slowly. What did I tell you? I mentioned anorexia earlier. Didn't read this. I didn't read this. I've read about it, but I didn't read this. And I mean, I didn't read about it yesterday. I didn't read about it a day ago. I've read about it for over a decade now. So, I'm going to land this plane. I don't normally get political on my channel, but I'm about to right now. Whether you like it, hate it, or you're in between, I don't give a damn. Here's the thing. You and your communities are responsible for who you place in office. Your ability to understand whether or not somebody has the capacity and understanding to actually govern for you takes discernment and education. This is the main reason why I'm in the building teaching right now. This is why I teach. This right here is why I teach. Because I don't want you to lack critical thinking skills. And right now, a lot of you are lacking critical thinking skills. Because the critical thinking skill is great-grandma had a vaccination. She lived to be however old. My maternal grandmother lived to be 75. My paternal grandmother is still alive at 99, almost 100. Vaccinated. My mother is still alive. My father is still alive. My aunts, several of them, are still alive. I assure you, any of them who have passed, any of my family members that have passed away did not pass away because they got a measles, mumps, and rubella vaccination. They didn't die because they got a polio vaccination. They didn't. They're still alive. I'm still alive. My children are still alive. Shout out to my daughter whose birthday is today. Still alive. But yet, Y'all are not taking 1, adding it to 1, and formulating 2. You're not taking 5, adding it to 5, and making it 10. And it's variations of addition to acquire the number 10. You're not doing it. For the life of me, I don't understand why. Y'all will rather go outside and wait for rain to take a shower. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Y'all would rather go outside and wait for rain than to go in the house or stay in the house and take a shower. Make it make sense. It is high time that you guys stop. Recognize what's real. Stop listening to just anybody, even if it's me. Stop listening to just anybody. Check the resume. Check the credentials. Check the Carfax. Don't just take my word for it because I got muscles and I wear a shirt that says mean and I say I'm a personal trainer and say I got educated and say I'm a world record powerlifter and say I'm a physical education teacher and say I'm a special education teacher. Check the resume. Google me, Chuck. Google who you listen to. 90% of y'all listen to randos who don't know what the hell they're talking about. But because they sound smart, because they're very manipulative and they sound smart, you rather listen to them than listen to people who have been educated on various subjects. Rather than listen to a clinical psychologist, you would rather listen to your buddy down the street on what you need to do in order to get right with yourself. Rather than take your monkey behind to the doctor, you'll rather ask your homie, does this look infected? Yo, I've had a headache for the last 6 days, yo. It will not go away. What do you think I should do about it? How about take your butt to the doctor? Man, ever since I went out to this party, I can't breathe. My chest hurts. I have a client. Literally went to the doctor the other day. Has some issues with the circulatory system. Found a clot in their leg. I turned around and I looked at her. And I said to her, she can vouch for this. And I said to her, I would get a second opinion if it as them saying it's no big deal, because that sounds like a potential for deep vein thrombosis and quite possibly a pulmonary embolism or some variation of that, because if it's a clot and it moves, you're not going to do too well. What you need to look for is your leg swelling, your inability to actually dorsiflex and plantar flex your foot. Your foot becomes swollen. You actually, when you it's called edema. When you actually squeeze the skin, it stays indented. That is a potential problem. If I were you, I would, if you're not allergic to aspirin, I said to her, if I were you, if you're not allergic to aspirin, I would get some low-dose aspirin and begin a low-dose aspirin regimen. Just me. But I would also get a second opinion from another doctor. Guess what happened? Went to another doctor. Other doctor told her everything I just said. Everything. Verbatim. It is high time we stop being stupid. Knowing things is hard. Knowing things requires work. Knowing things requires you to sit down and learn some things. Stop worrying about what's on TikTok all the time. Stop worrying about what's on YouTube all the time. Stop worrying about what's on Fox News, MSNBC all the time. Learn something and actually know things. So that way when you hear information based on scientifically proven information, you can measure it and then make intelligent decisions. Because right now, 378 people having the measles is absolutely astoundingly stupid to me. Outside of religious belief, it is astoundingly stupid for anybody to tell me they're not vaccinated or they didn't vaccinate their children. Listening to UFC freaking announcers or game show hosts to get your medical advice. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't know anything. But what it means is what you're supposed to do is go talk to your doctor. Go talk to your nutritionist. Go talk to your dietitian. Talk to somebody who has been trained in this stuff to therefore get this information. Stop just listening and then run off and run tell that. Go do the work. So that you can be the best you. Guys, that's my time. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. Have a nice day. Be the best you. Class is Stoutt.